All right, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to factor using the grouping method, and this is undoing the FOIL method. Okay, so if you liked to box when you multiplied, then you're going to want to watch the factor by using the box method video. Okay, so when factoring by grouping, so I've got x squared minus 7x minus 30, and I want to factor. I'm going to use the grouping method. Okay, I'm going to start off the same way using the box method. I'm going to play the x game. The top comes from doing a times c. So remember, this is 1. We've got a, b is negative 7, and c is negative 30. So a times c is 1 times negative 30. So that's going to be negative 30. And that's what I want these numbers to multiply to. And then I want them to add to negative 7. Okay, so just like what we've been doing the past couple days, think about two numbers that multiply to negative 30 and add to negative 7. Okay. It is going to be negative 10 and positive 3. All right, so X game is going to be the same. With factoring by grouping, what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite my original trinomial like this. Okay, I'm basically going to take the negative 7x, and I'm going to split it up into two pieces. So two things that will add together to get me negative 7x. Well, I just found those two things, negative 10 and 3. Okay, so I am going to put them in these two blocks, and I'm going to include an x with it. All right? So I'm splitting up negative 7x into negative 10x plus 3x. Okay, so this is like when you FOIL before you combine like terms, right? Remember in the middle, we have those two terms that are like terms, and then we add those together to get negative 7x. So now I'm going the opposite way. Okay? After this, here's the grouping. I am going to group the first two terms, x squared minus 10x, and then I'm going to group the second two terms, 3x minus 30. And then I'm going to take out a GCF for each of those. So in this first parenthesis, between x squared and negative 10x, the greatest common factor is x. So I'm going to take that out, just like how we did before. And now remember, you divide each part by x to see what you have left. So x squared divided by x is going to leave me with 10. And negative 10x divided by x is going to leave me with negative 10. Okay? Then I take the second parenthesis, and I find a GCF between these two numbers. So between 3x and negative 30, my GCF is 3. Okay, and I am adding. These are not multiplying, so I'm going to have that plus 3. If I took out a negative number, then it would be minus whatever that number was. Okay, then I divide each by 3 to see what I have left. So 3x divided by 3 leaves me with x. Negative 30 divided by 3 leaves me with negative 10. Okay, now we are almost done. I want you to notice now this and this, those are the same. Those should always be the same if you are doing factoring by grouping correctly. So that's one way to check at this point. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this x and this plus 3, and that becomes our first factor. Okay, then I take x minus 10, and that becomes our next factor. And that is factored form. Okay, if you think about it, all right, I don't know why I put a 0 there. If you think about FOILing these, like what we did before, this is why it's called undoing FOILing method. Okay? In order to multiply, I do x times x and then x times negative 10. Well, isn't that exactly what this is right here? And then I do 3 times x and 3 times negative 10. Isn't that what this is right here? Okay, so I'm doing the opposite, right? I got this. I rewrite it when we distribute. Once we multiply it all out, we get to this step, and then we combine the like terms to get to this step. So I'm doing the opposite of that in order to figure out what two things I can multiply in order to get that trinomial. Okay? So that is how you factor by grouping. We can do one more example. So x squared plus 14x plus 45. I want to know what my a is 1, my b is 14, my c is 45. I'm going to play the x game. So a times c is 1 times 45, 45. b is 14. So what two numbers multiply to give me 45, but add to give me 14? 9 and 5. Okay, now I rewrite my trinomial. I'm taking 14x and I am splitting it up into two things that will add together to equal 14x. And that's where my 9x and my 5x come in. Okay? So when I put them in to those blanks, I need to put the x with them. Otherwise, we will get confused. Okay? Now I am going to group the first two, x squared plus 9x, and then I group the next two, 5x plus 45. Now I figure out in this first parenthesis, what is the GCF? Between x squared and 9x, I can take out an x. When I do that, I'm left with x plus 9. In the second parenthesis between 5x and 45, I can take out a 5. When I do that, I'm left with x plus 9. Okay? Again, these two pieces should be the same at this point. Now I'm going to take the x plus 5, and this is going to become my first factor. And then the x plus 9 becomes my second factor. That is my answer. That is how you factor by grouping.